Whoa, Maliha, what are all those balloons for?
Why don't you follow me for the day and I'll show you. Now what do I do with the balloons? So today we're working on a birthday cake shoot. That's why I went ahead and I got these beautiful balloons. And then we're gonna make a beautiful vintage cake. One of the biggest things that I wanna do is share more about my stories of opening up a cake bakery. And did you know there's like no cake podcasts out there? There are some, but I don't know. I don't love that they don't share like the real drama that happens behind having a cake bakery. And I was like, you know what? Let's do a little talking while we do our shoot. And I'm excited for you to come along and hear about more stories about Cafe Pastel.
What inspired you to start Pastel Bakes?
What inspired me was me, because if I didn't have the passion that I have towards like cake decorating, I would have never done this and started a business. Being able to do a cake for someone who just absolutely loves it is what it's all about. But I kind of was like, I don't want to just bake a cake at home. I always had this like fire in me that wanted to like run my own business. So I actually started the store and in this little ghost kitchen, like this basement kitchen in Rosedale. We were just doing like cupcakes. I knew if I wanted it to be big, I can't go in alone. So the first partner I had was my husband. I literally was like, I will do the business only if you do it with me. And you know, since then it's been like 3 years, and we went from a simple ghost kitchen making cupcakes and cake jars and just doing a couple custom cakes to now we have a storefront and we have online cake orders, and we do custom cake orders, and we do classes. So it's a lot going on now, but and it's been it's like 3 years, but it feels like 30 for sure.
Okay, so tell me where you learned your own cake techniques.
So I first started liking baking, decorating cake, you know, everything to do with like cakes from watching like cooking shows, obviously. But I would watch a lot of MasterChef Australia. Their love for food and like really got into me. But I very soon realized that cooking it takes a lot more for me, and baking came way more naturally. Baking is harder. I think it's like everyone says it's like a science, and I took it on as a project that every time I failed, I kept wanting to do more and more. So I started watching like YouTube videos and, you know, just followed people on Instagram. I just started baking and decorating, and I just practiced, and then soon enough I became good at it enough to actually start a business with someone.
What's your favorite part about cake decorating or baking cakes?
I don't like baking cakes. If you're gonna start your own business, make sure you're doing a little bit of what you love and what made you start that business in the first place. As decorating, I could do a little something different, and if it's a mistake, I fix it, and if it's a good mistake, I keep it, and it turns out to become something new. Like, having that creative outlet is what it's all about for me.
Well, look at you.
All right, let's color this buttercream purple.
Okay, so when you're making different colors, how do you decide how much food coloring to put in?
You get an eye for it after a while, but I mean, less is more. You always start with a little bit and see where you're at, and then you just gotta keep going. Truthfully, it's just trial and error. Like everything else. Trial and error. I like that you asked me that question, because there's this course that we're offering now. It's like a week-long course for people who want to learn how to cake decorate and start their own business. And the whole point of that course is to teach them what we have learned, like from our mistakes. And one of them being coloring buttercream way too much and then having to figure out how to come back from it. So I hope people will check out that course that we have online, and we will be offering more and more courses, because we love teaching and we want to share what we've learned. And realistically, it's very rewarding to see others, be able to create something. I'm loving the pastels.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to have a company, like what defines me, and anybody who knows me well knows like how much I love pastel colors. I know I'm wearing black today, but most of my wardrobe is either pastels or like really light colors. And I'm just like, aesthetically, that's what I kind of liked. What do I want my cakes to kind of look like? And I realized that I personally prefer making cakes with pastel colors the most. I tried a lot of different versions, but pastel bakes was like what stuck with me. We went to Cafe Pastel, also very pastel when you come in and out. Yeah, making some marks on the cake. We practice on the cake. I used to practice tons on dummies, but actually before that, I would literally grab a parchment paper and then I would just keep piping until I nailed the design, and then I tried it on the cake itself. So always practice, 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 but on off the cake before you go on the cake. I think that's a pretty standard rule though.
Right? Can I move the chairs too?
Yeah.